Elliot,
Hey Tom,
how are you?
I'm good. How are you? Eating some grapes.
Seems like you're enjoying those grapes. So,
They taste like shit, but it's fine.
well, you gotta do what you gotta do sometimes, right? So, I was curious. I wanted to ask you. I've been reading a lot about cryptography and such, and like main concept pops up everywhere I go. So I just wanted to see. I mean, what the fuck is cryptography really?
Cryptography. Interesting.
Gordon Street. Oh, yes. Gordon Street. I once knew a girl who lived on Gordon Street a long time ago.
Cryptography is the concept of keeping a message hidden between the sender and the receiver, so that if a person was to intercept this message, it is not visible. So the person won't understand what is going on. That's the concept behind cryptography.
Cryptic.
Cryptic, exactly. So where all began is with Julius Caesar in 1967. I honestly have no fucking idea what date, but it happened with Julius Caesar. All right? This is what I know. And the thing is, when he'd send a message to his allies, he'd realized that their enemies were catching on to what's going on. And that's happened a lot during wars. You can see that in World War I, World War II, with the Enigma machine, but we'll get to that later. But the point is, Julius Caesar was like, how can I send a message without the message, when intercepted, become visible? What he did was he encrypted the message.
Fine grapes.
It's disgusting. Fucking nasty. So he encrypted the message. Back in the day, he'd take the piece of paper, write down, there is a war that's gonna happen now. Just an example. Give it to his fucking bird. Send that shit across to Egypt or wherever the fuck it is. And whoever received it knows the key of the message. Of course, before they sent that message, it was already agreed upon. For the sake of argument, let's just call the key, or give the key number 3. What that essentially meant was, it shifted the alphabet into 3 steps. A is no longer A becomes C. And C is no longer C becomes E. You get the drift? So the person intercepting the message has no fucking idea what the message actually is. That was called the Caesar Cipher. Of course, later it became a lot more complicated. The Germans and the British used something called the Enigma machine, which is a lot more difficult to encrypt, and the security or the reliance on hiding the message was dependent on how difficult the mathematics was behind that equation. So that's what it is in a nutshell. Now give me some fucking grapes.
Cool.